Hey there, WJ. Welcome to a special podcast I like to call Savor It. I am your host, Billie Lieber, and this special episode will serve as a guide of my 3 best pieces of advice for future underclassmen. Coming to terms with realizing that I'm actually graduating high school is like a feeling like no other. The fact that, in a couple of months from now, I won't be here. I will be starting a completely new life in a whole other state with a bunch of new people. It's like insane to think about. However, looking back at my high school years, I've made a lot of discovery about myself, from figuring out some of my new favorite things and my new passions in my later years of high school, to figuring out how to better my work ethic and how to spin a more positive outlook on the schoolwork that I complete. High school has truly helped me to better physically, mentally, and emotionally prepare for the future. I'm really excited to have a fresh start in a brand new place, though. I'm excited for the future because that means I'll get to carve out a brand new life for myself with new opportunities and new choices, such as attempting to do collegiate a cappella or taking part in college radio. However, I will always miss being around the same crowd of people that I've grown through the years with. While starting fresh in a new place does sound quite nice and promising, I honestly can't imagine my future without the people throughout my life who have paved the way to this very moment. Without further ado, here's some advice I would give to underclassmen and future high school students. Number 1, don't stay in limbo. Give new things a try. In middle school, one of my favorite things, alongside from participating in theater productions, was choir. I really like to sing. I really like to perform. And during middle school, that was when I'd say that me doing those things was at its peak. However, when it came to, participating in arts at WJ, I took theater my first 2 years, if I remember off the top of my head correctly. But I kind of found myself still longing to do choir. And I wasn't sure if it was worth it to try because, I had already completed my arts credit. Is it really, worth my time to go and do another? On the other hand, I found myself thinking that this is something I used to do. This is something I loved doing. And, maybe it's time for me to pick it back up. You only live once, and I think it was a perfect opportunity. And I found myself questioning for just a good chunk of time whether I should try choir, particularly show choir, because it's fun dancing to songs, But it wasn't until I watched an actual performance that I was completely sold on joining it and participating. Now, I'm happy to say that I have participated in show choir at WJ for 2 years now. This is my 2nd year. I joined in. I have a lot of fun in that class, and now you'll find me actively wanting to choreograph. I've choreographed a total of 3 songs over my Popfly career. Looking back, I wish I had taken it sooner though, because I truly never got to say to myself, this is so much fun, and that the arts, my favorite subject and activity, would not become part of my main schedule up until my junior year. So to everyone, if you find yourself wondering, I wonder if I should try XYZ, don't keep asking, give it a try. What have you got to lose? Debating on whether or not to try something, honestly, other than the arts, further shows itself in my experience with the pitch. I always found reading the pitches quite interesting, and it wasn't until junior year that I signed up to take J1, which is the prerequisite course. And after taking it, I am also really happy to say that in college I'll be pursuing a communications journalism career, hopefully on that path. But I know that taking that class, even if it was in junior year, and participating in the pitch has definitely fostered my love for writing and has influenced me to want to continue writing in the future. Number 2, don't be hard on yourself / focus on your mental health. I know that this can be a common occurrence for many students when it comes to reacting to a grade or answering a question incorrectly in a room full of students. I know, I've been there. We've all been there when you think about it. If being hard on oneself was a sickness, then I've absolutely caught this like the common cold, because this has happened an unbelievable amount of times to me. I find it so difficult to not be mad at myself for even getting 1 or 2 points off of an assignment, even though the grade overall was still pretty good. If I could travel back in time to my younger self before I started high school, I would have said, hey, could you pretty please take it easy on Billie? They're their own worst critic. To the younger listeners, when you get something wrong on an assignment or a quiz, I think you should learn to take it from another perspective, a new angle, if you will. Look at what you answered wrong, try to figure out why you chose that answer in order to make sense of it, and then apply that new knowledge to the rest of the topic. The process to improve is much simpler when you go easy on yourself. Making mistakes is just a minor road bump on the road of life. I used to take tests to such an extreme that getting 1, maybe even 2 points off would warrant a complete and utter stream of tears. But now, I would say that I look at things a lot more optimistically. Despite those 1 or 2 points that I got off on that test, I'd still get an A overall. Number 3, trust your gut. Me personally, besides number 2, I would say I'm still working on this one, but let me tell you guys, this one goes quite a long way for both high school and college. I think in the younger years of school, you are taught specific ways to do certain things. However, I have noticed as I receive more assignments in school that test my skills on being able to work independently, I find it slightly more difficult on how to make sense of instructions or how to do a certain assigned task. When these circumstances arise, it is typical that my brain formulates a possible solution as to how to deal with said problem, but that solution tends to be overtaken by thoughts of, what if it's not correct? But what if I do this, but the answer doesn't come out to what we want it to be? One of the most important things to keep in mind whilst in high school is that the level of support that you receive while in college might be a lot different, which means that to complete assignments in college, you'll have to put a lot of more trust in yourself. Because the level of support changes so drastically, trusting your gut's feeling when it comes to answering questions becomes an increasingly important skill to rely on. And sure, sometimes when we rely on our gut feeling, we might not get the answers we want. However, there are opportunities to make up for the wrong answers we give. Trusting your gut doesn't just apply to the classroom. It will take you far in social situations as well. A good example of this is the social circles that one forms during high school and college. Trusting your gut means being able to say to yourself when you detect bad or toxic behavior, hey, these are people I can't be around. Can't decide whether or not to try out for a higher level choir class? What does your gut feeling tell you? The worst thing that can happen is that you don't get into what you tried out for. Also, for juniors and incoming seniors, you'll get slammed with a bunch of college propaganda, whether it be your parents influencing you to go to the place they went to school, or countless emails from schools telling you why you should go there. But the most important fact I've learned while deciding where I'll end up is this: nobody knows yourself better than you. Those around you can weigh in on where they'd like to see you go to school, but in the end, it's your decision. You should go where your gut tells you to go. And those are my best 3 pieces of advice for underclassmen and future high school students. I hope this was insightful to you listeners. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to this podcast, and thank you to Rhea Noumair for the amazing cover art. Until next time, see ya!